Emily was 7 years old when her father taught her what worthless meant. The Arizona sun beat down on the Dusty Trails trailer park, turning the metal homes into ovens. Emily sat on the concrete steps of their trailer, watching her father Derek pack his Harley. The iron skull's patch on his leather vest gleamed, a skull with crossbones, the symbol she'd grown up seeing on the backs of scary men who smelled like cigarettes and motor oil. "Dad?" Her voice was small, uncertain. "Where are you going?" Derek didn't turn around. He was stuffing clothes into his saddlebag with rough, angry movements. "Away from here. Away from this life." "When will you be back?" "I won't." He finally looked at her, really looked, and his eyes were cold, empty. "Your mom's dead. I got nothing keeping me here, especially not you." Emily felt something crack inside her chest. "But I'm your daughter." "Yeah, well, I never wanted to be a father." Derek straddled his bike, checked his mirrors. "Your mom trapped me. Got pregnant on purpose, thought it'd make me stay. All it did was ruin my life." "Derek!" Aunt Rachel burst out of the trailer, her face red with fury. "She's 7 years old. You can't just watch me." Derek kicked the stand, the engine roaring to life. The sound was deafening, final. "She's your problem now, Rachel." "Good luck. She's not a problem, she's a child." But Derek wasn't listening. He looked at Emily one last time, and the words that came out of his mouth would haunt her for the next 11 years. "You were a mistake from day one, kid. I hope you know that." Then he twisted the throttle and rode away. 9 other iron skulls followed, a parade of leather and chrome and abandonment. The sound of their engines echoed off the trailers, and then gradually faded until there was only silence and dust. Emily stood there until her legs hurt, until Aunt Rachel pulled her inside, until the sun set and the trailer park lights flickered on. That night, lying in her small bed, Emily whispered to the ceiling, "I'm not a mistake. I'm not." But she didn't believe it. Aunt Rachel tried, at first. She fed Emily, enrolled her in school, kept a roof over her head. But Rachel was barely holding on herself. 2 jobs, an alcohol problem she wouldn't admit to, and a boyfriend who came and went like the desert wind. "You look just like him," Rachel would say sometimes, usually after a few beers. "Same dark hair, same stubborn jaw. God, I can't look at you without seeing that bastard." Emily learned to make herself small, learned to be quiet, to not ask for things, to blend into the background of Rachel's chaotic life. School became her refuge, the library especially, where she could disappear into books and pretend she was somewhere else, someone else. But even at school she was marked. The trailer park kid, the girl with the biker dad who abandoned her. Kids could be cruel, and Emily learned to eat lunch alone to keep her head down, to survive. By the time she turned 13, Rachel's resentment had solidified into something harder. "You're bleeding this household dry," Rachel said one night, waving a handful of bills. "Food, clothes, electricity. It all costs money I don't have." "I can get a job," Emily offered quietly. "When I turn 14, I can work." "Damn right you will. Time you pulled your weight." So at 14, Emily started working. First at a fast food place, then a gas station, then wherever would hire her. School became secondary to survival. By 16, she'd dropped out entirely, not because she wanted to, but because working 50 hours a week didn't leave room for education. Aunt Rachel didn't fight her on it. "You're not college material anyway. Might as well start earning." On her 18th birthday, Rachel handed her an eviction notice. Not legal, just a piece of paper with Rachel's handwriting. "You're an adult now. Time to figure out your own life." Emily moved out the next day. Found a studio apartment in South Phoenix, $400 a month, barely bigger than a closet, with a bathroom so small you had to step into the shower to close the door. But it was hers. She worked at the same gas station where she'd started at 14, now full-time. The pay was minimum wage, but it was steady. She learned to live on rice and beans, to patch her own clothes, to fix things instead of replacing them. At night, in her tiny apartment, Emily would sometimes Google her father. She'd find mentions of the Iron Skulls, arrests, bar fights, weapons charges, but never Derek Hayes specifically. She didn't know if he was alive or dead, in jail or free. Part of her hoped he was suffering. Part of her hated herself for hoping that. 3 years passed. Emily turned 21, still pumping gas, still barely surviving. She had no friends. Trust was hard when your own father called you a mistake. No dreams. Dreams were for people who believed they deserved good things. She existed. That was all. Until the day 2 strangers in expensive suits walked into her gas station and changed everything. It was a Tuesday in April, one of those rare spring days when Phoenix wasn't trying to kill you with heat. Emily was restocking cigarettes behind the counter when she noticed them. Two men, mid-30s, in tailored suits that probably cost more than Emily made in 6 months. They looked completely out of place in the run-down gas station with its cracked linoleum and flickering fluorescent lights. The older one approached the counter, tall, dark-haired, with kind eyes that immediately made Emily suspicious. Kind eyes usually wanted something. "Excuse me," he said. "We're looking for Emily Hayes." Emily's hand froze on the Marlboro box. No one looked for her. Ever. Why? She kept her voice neutral, non-committal. "Are you Emily Hayes?" The younger one stepped forward, similar features to the first but with lighter hair and a sharper edge to his expression. "Depends who's asking." The older one pulled out a business card, slid it across the counter. "James Caldwell, CEO, Caldwell Technologies." "I'm James Caldwell. This is my brother, Michael. We've been searching for you for 3 years." Emily's stomach knotted. "I don't know you." "No, but we know you. Or rather, we know of you. We're your cousins, your mother's side of the family." The world tilted slightly. Emily gripped the counter. "My mother's dead." "We know. I'm so sorry." James's voice was genuinely gentle. "But before she died, she had family. 2 sisters. Our mothers. Your mother was Jessica Morgan before she married Derek Hayes." Emily shook her head. "My mom never mentioned sisters. My dad said she had no family." "Your dad lied," Michael said bluntly. "He cut your mother off from her family. Wouldn't let them see her, wouldn't let them meet you. After she died, they tried to find you, but Derek had already taken off. You were with Aunt Rachel, who moved around, changed numbers. The trail went cold. So why now?" Emily's suspicion hardened into something defensive. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," James said immediately. "We want to give you something. A chance, a family, a life. I have a life. Do you?" Michael gestured around the gas station, then seemed to think better of it. "Sorry, that came out wrong. What I meant is, you deserve more than this, and we'd like to help." Emily laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. "Why? You don't know me. I could be anyone." "Your family," James said simply. "That's enough." "Family?" Emily's voice rose. "My father was family, and he called me a mistake before he rode away. My aunt was family, and she kicked me out the day I turned 18. Family doesn't mean shit to me." "Then let us change that," Michael said. "Give us a chance to show you what family should be." Emily wanted to say no, wanted to tell them to get lost, that she didn't need their pity or their charity. But something in James's eyes, something genuine, something that looked like actual concern, made her hesitate. "I have a break in 15 minutes, she heard herself say. "You can explain, but that's all I'm promising." James smiled. "That's all we're asking." They sat in a booth at the Denny's next door, coffee cooling in front of them. James had spread out papers on the table, birth certificates, family trees, photographs. "This is your mother," he said, pushing forward a picture of a young woman with dark hair and bright eyes. Emily saw her own face in that face, the genetics undeniable. Jessica Morgan. She was the youngest of 3 sisters. He laid out 2 more photos. "Catherine and Elizabeth, our mothers. Catherine was my mum, Elizabeth was Michael's. They were close, all 3 of them, until Jessica met your father." "Let me guess," Emily said bitterly. "Big, wealthy family didn't approve of the biker boyfriend." "Actually, our mothers would have been fine with it," James corrected. "Our grandparents, your grandparents, were the problem. Old money, old prejudices. When Jessica got pregnant with you, they gave her an ultimatum. Leave Derek or be cut off. She chose him. She chose you," Michael said. "She wanted to give you a father, wanted to believe Derek would step up." Emily stared at the photos. He didn't. No. And by the time our mothers tracked Jessica down, she'd been isolated completely. Derek wouldn't let them talk to her, threatened them if they came around. Then she died. Car accident when you were 3, and Derek took you and vanished. Our mothers searched for years, James continued. Hired investigators, followed every lead, but Derek stayed off the grid. And you were shuffled around foster care with Rachel, who was hard to track down. By the time we got serious about searching, after our mothers passed away 5 years ago, you were 18 and completely disappeared into the system. No social media, no digital footprint. You worked cash jobs, moved frequently. Finding you was like finding a ghost. Emily processed this. Your mothers, they died? Cancer, Michael said quietly. Within 6 months of each other. Their last wish was that we find you, bring you home. I don't have a home. You could, James said. In San Diego. We both live there. James runs Caldwell Technologies. I'm in commercial real estate. We have space, resources, and honestly, we'd like to know you. You're the only family we have left. Emily looked at these two strangers offering what she'd never had, belonging. What's the catch? No catch, Michael said. You come stay with us. Try it for a month. If you hate it, we'll help you get set up wherever you want. Different city, education, job training, whatever. But give us a chance, give yourself a chance. Emily's hands trembled around her coffee cup. Why should I trust you? Everyone who was supposed to care about me has hurt me. Because we're not Derek Hayes, James said firmly. We don't abandon family, ever. That's a promise. Emily looked at the photos spread across the table. At her mother, young and hopeful. At the two women who'd searched for her. At a life she never knew existed. She thought about her studio apartment, her gas station job, the endless cycle of barely surviving. What did she have to lose? 1 month, she said finally. I'll try for 1 month, but if I don't like it, then you leave, no questions asked, James agreed. We'll even help you pack. As Emily walked back to work, she wondered if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life, or if maybe, just maybe, someone actually wanted her for once. The plane ticket was first class. Emily had never flown before, and the experience was overwhelming. TSA lines, security checks, the massive Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, buzzing with travelers who all seemed to know exactly where they were going. James had flown in to escort her personally. Michael's setting up your room, he explained as they waited at the gate. Wanted to make sure you had everything you needed. I don't need much, Emily said quietly. Her entire life fit into 2 duffel bags. Well, now you have more than much. You have choices. The flight was smooth, though Emily gripped the armrests during takeoff. James pretended not to notice, just pointed out landmarks as Phoenix fell away below them, the sprawling desert city she'd lived in but never really seen from this perspective. You okay? He asked when they leveled out. Terrified, Emily admitted. Of flying? Of all of it. This is a lot. James nodded. I get it. But Emily, you can bail at any point. This isn't a trap. It's an opportunity, big difference. San Diego appeared through the clouds, so different from Phoenix. Where Phoenix was brown and brutal, San Diego was green and gentle. The oceans stretched endlessly, impossibly blue. That's the Pacific, James said, watching her stare. You'll get used to it. Will I? Emily thought. The drive from the airport took 30 minutes. James's car was a Tesla. Silent, smooth, expensive. Emily felt grimy in her Goodwill clothes, sitting on leather seats that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Here, James handed her a phone. It's yours, already activated. My number and Michael's are programmed in. I can't afford. You're not paying for it. Consider it a welcome gift. They drove up Highway 101, the coast on their right, mansions on their left. Emily's stomach tightened with each mile. This wasn't her world. She didn't belong here. Then they turned into La Jolla, and Emily forgot to breathe. The house, no mansion, sat on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Modern architecture, all glass and clean lines. Security gates, manicured lawn, 3-car garage. This is yours, Emily whispered. Ours, James corrected, pulling into the circular driveway. And now yours too. Michael emerged from the front door, grinning. Welcome home, cousin. Inside was even more impressive. Soaring ceilings, an open floor plan that flowed from living room to kitchen to outdoor patio. Art on the walls, real art, not posters. Furniture that looked designer. Everything perfect, clean, wealthy. Emily felt like a stain on pristine fabric. Your room's upstairs, Michael said, leading the way. 3rd door on the left. We set it up, but you can change anything you want. The bedroom was bigger than her entire studio apartment. King-size bed. Private bathroom with a tub you could swim in. Walk-in closet already stocked with clothes. Jeans, shirts, dresses, all in her size. How did you know my size? Emily asked, stunned. We guessed, James admitted. If anything doesn't fit, we'll exchange it. Emily sat on the bed, so soft she sank into it, and tears came without permission. Hey, Michael sat beside her, uncertain. What's wrong? Is it too much? We can tone it down. No one's ever... Emily couldn't finish. No one had ever cared enough to buy her clothes, to prepare a room, to make her feel wanted. Get used to it, James said gently from the doorway. This is your life now. That first night, they ordered pizza. Apparently even millionaires ate pizza sometimes. They sat on the patio overlooking the ocean, fairy lights strung overhead, the sound of waves constant and soothing. So, Michael said casually, what do you want to do? School? Work? Both? Neither? Emily picked at her pizza. I never finished high school, had to work. Then we start there, James said. GED program, get you caught up. Then we can talk about college if you're interested. College? Emily laughed. I can barely afford. Emily. James's voice was firm, but kind. Money's not an issue. Education, living expenses, whatever you need. We've got it covered. That's not charity. That's family. But I don't know you. You don't know me. What if I'm horrible? What if... Then you're horrible and we deal with it, Michael interrupted. But I doubt that. You survived 18 years with Derek Hayes and Rachel. That takes serious strength. We're just giving you the resources to use that strength for something better than survival. Emily looked out at the ocean, dark and vast. I don't know how to do this. How to be here. Neither do we, James admitted. We've never had a sister before. We'll figure it out together. Sister. The word hit Emily hard. She'd never had siblings, never had anyone. Okay, she said quietly. I'll try. That's all we ask. Michael smiled. Later, alone in her massive bedroom, Emily stood at the window overlooking the Pacific. The waves crashed against rocks below, constant and eternal, so different from the desert silence she'd grown up with. Her phone buzzed, a text from James. First day down. How are you feeling? Emily typed, overwhelmed. But okay, good. Get some rest. Tomorrow we'll show you around San Diego. Welcome home, Emily. Home. Emily turned the word over in her mind. Maybe, just maybe, it could be true. The first week was awkward in ways Emily couldn't articulate. She kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, for James and Michael to reveal their real motives, demand something in return, show their true colors. But it never happened. Instead, they showed her San Diego. The beaches, La Jolla Cove with its seals, Pacific Beach with its boardwalk, Coronado with its perfect sand, the Gaslamp Quarter downtown, Balboa Park with its museums and gardens. You're allowed to enjoy things, Michael said, when he caught Emily looking guilty after buying her an ice cream cone. I know. Do you? Because you flinch every time we spend money on you. Emily was quiet. Then, I'm not used to people giving me things without strings attached. There are no strings, Emily. You're family. We take care of family. But trust was hard when you'd been hurt by everyone who should have protected you. James enrolled her in a GED prep program at the local community college. Small classes, good teachers, flexible schedule. You're smart, her instructor noted after the first week. Why'd you drop out? Had to work. Couldn't afford to stay in school. Well, now you can afford to learn. Take advantage. Emily did. She threw herself into studying math, science, English, history, subjects she'd loved before life got in the way. It felt like coming home to a part of herself she'd locked away. At night, she'd study at the kitchen island while James worked on his laptop and Michael reviewed contracts. It was domestic, normal, strange. You're doing great, James commented one evening, glancing at her practice tests. Seriously, Emily, these scores are college level. I always liked school, just never got the chance to do it properly. Now you do. What do you want to study? After the GED? Emily hadn't let herself think that far ahead. I don't know. Business, maybe. I want to understand how things work. Money, companies, success. Smart choice, Michael approved. We can help with that. But not everything was smooth. Emily had nightmares, always the same, her father riding away, calling her a mistake, Aunt Rachel's disgusted face, being alone in the desert, abandoned and unwanted. She'd wake up gasping, disoriented in the too-soft bed, in the too-nice room. The third time it happened, Michael heard her. He knocked softly. Emily, you okay? Fine. Just a bad dream. Can I come in? She hesitated, then, yeah. Michael sat on the edge of her bed, careful to keep distance. Want to talk about it? Not really. Okay. He didn't push. Just sat there in comfortable silence until Emily's breathing steadied. Why are you doing this? She asked finally. Really, there has to be a reason. The reason is your family, that's it. That's not enough. Nobody does this just because. Michael sighed. Okay, Honest answer. Our mothers spent their last years full of regret. Regret that they didn't fight harder to stay in touch with your mom. Regret that they didn't find you sooner. That regret ate them alive, Emily. James and I watched them die feeling like they'd failed their sister and her kid. He looked at her directly. We promised we'd find you, make it right. And yeah, maybe part of this is about assuaging our own guilt. But the bigger part is that you deserve this. You deserve family, stability, opportunities. You deserved it at 7 when Derek left. You deserved it at 18 when Rachel kicked you out. You deserve it now. Emily's eyes stung. I don't know how to accept that. You don't have to accept it all at once, just don't run. Give it time, let yourself believe you're worth caring about. After he left, Emily lay in the dark, turning his words over in her mind. You deserve this. Maybe if she said it enough times, she'd start to believe it. 3 months in, Emily took her GED test. She'd studied obsessively, terrified of failing, of proving she wasn't smart enough for this new life. The results came back 2 weeks later. She'd passed. Not just passed. Scored in the 95th percentile nationally. James and Michael threw a celebration dinner. Nothing huge. Just the 3 of them and fancy takeout, but they made a big deal of it. Told you were smart, James said, raising his glass of sparkling cider. To Emily, high school graduate at 21. Not bad for someone who never got the chance. What now? Michael asked. College applications? Or do you want to take a break? Emily had been thinking about this. I want to work. Learn from the ground up. College can wait. I want real-world experience first. What kind of work? I don't know. Something with my hands. Something real. James and Michael exchanged looks. Then James said, How would you feel about working at one of Michael's properties? He owns several commercial buildings, retail spaces. You could learn property management, retail operations, business fundamentals. As what? A janitor? As a manager in training, Michael corrected. Paid position, real responsibilities. You'd rotate through departments, learn everything from accounting to customer relations. Think of it as a paid education. Emily was suspicious. You're just making up a job for me. I'm offering you an opportunity based on your potential, Michael said. If you suck at it, I'll fire you. Family or not, my business comes first. But I don't think you'll suck at it. Emily considered. It was better than sitting around feeling useless. Okay, when do I start? Michael grinned. Monday. Welcome to the working world, cousin. Michael's property management company, Caldwell Properties, managed 15 commercial buildings across San Diego. Emily started at the smallest, a retail plaza in North Park with 10 shops. Your job, Michael explained on her first day, is to learn everything. How we collect rent, manage maintenance, deal with tenant complaints, coordinate renovations. You'll work under Sophia Chen, our senior property manager. She's tough but fair. Sophia was indeed tough, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who'd been in property management for 30 years. She looked Emily up and down skeptically. So you're the cousin. Michael says you're smart but inexperienced. That's accurate, Emily said honestly. Can you handle being told you're wrong? I've been told worse. Sophia's expression softened slightly. Fair enough. Let's see what you've got. The first month was brutal. Emily learned about lease agreements, maintenance schedules, vendor negotiations, budget management. She shadowed Sophia everywhere, took notes obsessively, asked questions until Sophia told her to shut up and figure it out herself. You're doing that thing, Sophia said one afternoon, catching Emily hovering uncertainly. What thing? That thing where you wait for permission to exist. Stop it. You have authority here. Use it. Emily blinked. I'm just an intern. You're a manager in training with decision-making power. Act like it. It was hard, stepping into authority when you'd spent your whole life being told you didn't matter. But Emily tried. When a tenant complained about a broken AC unit, Emily didn't wait for Sophia's approval. She called the HVAC company, scheduled the repair, documented everything. When another tenant asked about extending their lease, Emily reviewed the terms, prepared a proposal, presented it to Sophia for review. Better, Sophia said, scanning Emily's work. You're learning. At home, Emily was changing too. She cooked dinner sometimes, experimenting with recipes, usually failing, but James and Michael ate it anyway and gave honest feedback. This is interesting, James said diplomatically, trying Emily's attempt at lasagna. It's terrible, Emily corrected. Okay, yes, it's terrible, but you tried, that matters. She started running in the mornings along the beach, something she'd never had time or energy for before. The rhythm of feet on sand, breath matching the waves, helped quiet her mind. Michael joined her sometimes. They didn't talk much, just ran side by side, comfortable in silence. "You're settling in," he observed one morning. "Maybe. Still feels surreal sometimes. That'll fade. Eventually this becomes normal." "I'm not sure I want normal. Normal for me has always been bad. Then we'll make a new normal, a better one." 6 months after starting at Caldwell Properties, Emily got her first real challenge. One of the retail tenants, a small boutique clothing store, was 3 months behind on rent. Sophia dumped the file on Emily's desk. "Handle it. Either they pay up, we work out a payment plan, or we start eviction proceedings." Emily's stomach knotted. Eviction. She knew what that felt like. She scheduled a meeting with the tenant, a woman named Rosa Martinez, mid-30s, stressed beyond belief. "I know I'm behind," Rosa said immediately, "but my sales have been down since the new shopping center opened across the street. I'm trying, I swear." "Tell me about your business," Emily interrupted. "What are you selling? Who's your customer? What's your strategy?" Rosa blinked, surprised. Then she talked about her dream of owning her own boutique, her focus on sustainable fashion, her struggles with marketing and inventory management. Emily listened, took notes, then said, "I have an idea, but it might sound crazy." She proposed that Rosa pivot to online sales, use the retail space for pickup events, reduce overhead, increase reach. Emily even sketched out a basic business plan, having learned from her own studying. "If you do this, I can convince Michael to restructure your lease. Lower rent, longer term, conditional on hitting sales targets. You get breathing room, we keep a good tenant, everyone wins." Rosa stared. "Why would you help me?" "Because I know what it's like to feel like you're drowning. And because smart business isn't just about collecting rent, it's about building partnerships." She took the proposal to Michael, who read it carefully. "This is good, Emily. Really good. You're thinking strategically, considering long-term value over short-term profit. That's mature decision-making. So we do it? We do it. But it's your project. You manage the restructure, you monitor her progress, you take the credit if it works, and the blame if it fails." Emily swallowed hard. Okay, it worked. Rosa's business turned around within 3 months. She hit her targets, paid her rent on time, even expanded. Other tenants noticed, and Emily's reputation grew. Sophia pulled her aside one day. "You're not an intern anymore, you're a manager. Act accordingly." Emily felt something unfamiliar. Pride. 1 year after moving to San Diego, Emily stood on the patio overlooking the ocean. The sunset painted the sky in oranges and pinks, and for the first time in her life, Emily felt like she might actually deserve to be happy. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. "Hello? Emily." The voice was rough, familiar, hateful. "It's your dad." Her blood turned to ice. "How did you get this number?" "I have my ways. Heard you're doing well. Living in a fancy house in San Diego with your rich cousins. What do you want?" Derek laughed. Ugly, mean. "What do you think? I need money. 50,000. You got rich family, that's nothing to them." "No? No?" His voice turned dangerous. "I'm your father. You're nothing. You left me. You called me a mistake. You don't get to come back now that I have something." "Listen, you little bitch." Emily hung up, then immediately called James. "We have a problem." James and Michael took the threat seriously. "He'll try again," James said, pacing the living room. "Derek's desperate. Desperate people are dangerous." "We need a restraining order," Michael added, "and security." "I don't want to live in fear," Emily protested. "You won't. We'll handle this legally and thoroughly. Derek Hayes doesn't get to terrorize you." Patricia Chen, their attorney, was efficient. Within 48 hours, they had a restraining order filed. Any contact from Derek, phone, email, in person, and he'd go to jail. "Will that stop him?" Emily asked. "It's a deterrent," Patricia explained, "but we're also hiring private security. Someone will be with you when you're out, and we're upgrading the house security system." Emily hated needing protection, but she was also terrified. Derek called twice more before the restraining order was officially served. Both times Emily didn't answer, but her hands shook holding the phone. "He's trying to make you afraid," Michael said, finding her staring at blocked calls. "Don't let him. Easy for you to say, you don't know what he's like. Then tell me, help me understand what we're dealing with. Emily had never talked about it, the years with Derek before he left. The violence, the anger, the unpredictability. He hit my mum, she said quietly. I don't remember all of it, I was so young, but I remember the sounds, her crying, him yelling. And after she died, he'd look at me like I was the reason she was gone. He blamed you for the car accident? He blamed me for existing. Said if Mom hadn't been pregnant, hadn't had me, she wouldn't have been on that road that day. Logic didn't matter. I was convenient to hate. Michael's jaw clenched. He's not getting near you. I promise. But Derek was persistent. He showed up at the Caldwell Properties office a week later. Emily was in a meeting when reception called, voice urgent. There's a man here demanding to see Emily Hayes. Security's already called the police, but he's making a scene. Emily's heart raced. I'm coming down. No, Sophia said firmly. You stay here. That's what security's for. But Emily went anyway, needed to face him. Derek stood in the lobby, older, harder, meaner. The years had not been kind. His Iron Skull's vest was faded, his face weathered, his eyes empty of anything resembling humanity. There she is, he sneered when he saw Emily, living large while your old man starves. You're violating a restraining order, Emily said, proud that her voice didn't shake. Police are on their way. I don't care. You owe me. I gave you life. You gave me nothing but trauma. Leave. I made you. Without me, you wouldn't exist. You're right, Emily said coldly, and I wish I didn't exist if it meant not having you as a father. But I do exist, and I built something despite you, not because of you. Now get out before they drag you out. Derek lunged forward, but security stopped him. Professional, efficient, no nonsense. Police arrived within minutes. As they cuffed him, Derek screamed obscenities. You're nothing! You hear me? Nothing. No, Emily said quietly, more to herself than him. I'm everything you said I wasn't, and that kills you. Derek was taken away. Emily stood there shaking, adrenaline crashing, but also feeling something unexpected. Freedom. She'd faced him, stood her ground, refused to be small. James arrived minutes later, having rushed from his office downtown. Are you okay? Yeah, Emily exhaled. Yeah, I think I am. Derek went to jail for violating the restraining order. 6 months minimum, possibly longer given his record. Emily didn't visit, didn't write, didn't think about him except in therapy, because yes, James had gently suggested therapy, and Emily had finally agreed. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge, her therapist, Dr. Sarah Williams, said, and you've spent your whole life pretending your trauma doesn't matter. Because it doesn't, Emily protested. Other people have it worse. Other people's pain doesn't diminish yours. You were abandoned by your father. That matters. Slowly, Emily began to unpack it. The abandonment, the years of feeling worthless, the survival mechanisms that had kept her alive but also kept her isolated. You're afraid to be happy, Dr. Williams observed, because you don't trust that it'll last. It won't, Emily said. Good things always end. Sometimes. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get to keep them. Emily wanted to believe that. At work, Emily was thriving. Michael promoted her to full property manager, giving her 3 buildings to oversee. She was 22, managing million-dollar properties, and actually good at it. You have instincts, Sophia told her. You see problems before they become disasters. That's rare. Emily hired staff who reminded her of herself, people from rough backgrounds given second chances. She trained them the way Sophia had trained her, tough but fair, demanding excellence but offering support. You're building a team, Michael observed, reviewing her performance. And a good one, I'm impressed. I'm just trying not to screw up. You're doing more than that. You're leading. There's a difference. Leadership. Emily had never considered herself capable of it. But apparently survival skills translated well to management. At home, things were settling into normalcy. Emily cooked. Better now, she'd taken online classes. They watched movies together, had game nights that got embarrassingly competitive. You cheated, James accused Emily after she won Monopoly for the 3rd time. I'm just better at capitalism than you, Emily shot back, grinning. She's got you there, Michael laughed. These moments, simple, domestic, real, were what Emily had never known she needed. Not the money or the mansion, but the belonging. I love you guys, she blurted out one evening, surprising herself. James and Michael looked equally surprised. Then James said, We love you too, kiddo, that's kind of the point. I know, but I needed to say it. To acknowledge that this is real, that you're real. We're real, Michael confirmed, and you're stuck with us. Emily had never been happier to be stuck, but the past wasn't done with her yet. One afternoon, a woman showed up at the Caldwell Properties office. Mid-40s, hard-faced, leather vest with an iron skulls patch. "I'm looking for Emily Hayes," she told reception. Emily came down warily. "I'm Emily. I'm Karen, Derek's friend, partner, whatever." The woman looked uncomfortable. "Look, Derek's in jail because of you." "Derek's in jail because he violated a restraining order," Emily corrected. "That's on him, not me. He needs help. Lawyer fees, bail, not my problem." Karen's expression hardened. "He's your father." "He was my father for 7 years. Then he abandoned me and spent 14 years not giving a damn if I lived or died. Now that I have something, he wants a piece. That's not fatherhood. That's opportunism. He made mistakes. He made choices. And I'm making mine. Tell Derek to leave me alone. Tell the Iron Skulls to leave me alone. I'm done with that life." Karen studied her. "You're different than I expected. Harder. I learned from the best. Unfortunately." After Karen left, Emily called Patricia. "Am I going to have the whole Iron Skulls gang harassing me? Not if we make it clear there are consequences. I'll send cease and desist letters to their clubhouse. If anyone else approaches you, we escalate legally." "This is insane. This is your father's world, but you're not in it anymore. Remember that." Emily tried to, but it was hard when that world kept trying to drag her back. With Derek in jail and legal boundaries in place, Emily felt safe enough to focus on growth. She enrolled in business classes at San Diego State, part-time, manageable alongside work. James and Michael had offered to cover full-time tuition, but Emily wanted to earn it herself. "I need to know I did this," she explained. "Not because you paid for it, but because I was capable." "You're capable of both," James said. "But I respect wanting to do it your own way." In her classes, Emily was often the oldest student, but also the most experienced. While others theorized about business, Emily had actually run properties, managed budgets, dealt with real problems. "You should teach this class," her economics professor joked, after Emily corrected a textbook example with real-world data. "Maybe someday," Emily smiled. At work, Emily started noticing patterns in the retail spaces she managed. Certain types of businesses thrived, others struggled. She began researching trends: sustainable fashion, artisanal foods, local goods. "I have an idea," she told Michael one evening. "What if we dedicated one of the buildings to only local, sustainable businesses? Create a hub for conscious consumers?" Michael considered. "Its niche might limit tenant pool, but it would also attract a specific demographic willing to pay premium for values-aligned shopping. And it would differentiate us from generic retail spaces. Write me a proposal." Emily did. 20 pages, complete with market research, financial projections, tenant profiles. She presented it to Michael and the Caldwell Properties team like she was pitching to investors. They approved it. The project took 6 months. Finding the right building, recruiting tenants, renovating spaces. Emily managed it all, working 70-hour weeks, loving every exhausting minute. The grand opening was featured in San Diego Magazine. Local business hub opens in North Park, managed by 22-year-old rising star Emily Hayes. "Rising star," James teased, showing her the article. "That's you. That's embarrassing." "That's accurate." The project was successful. 98% leased within 3 months. Waiting list of potential tenants. Emily's reputation grew. Other property managers started calling, asking her advice. "You're becoming known," Sophia said proudly. "People respect you." Respect. Emily had never had that before, but success brought attention. Including attention Emily didn't want. A reporter from the San Diego Tribune contacted her, wanting to do a profile piece. Rising star in commercial real estate, working for her cousin's company, overcame difficult childhood. "It's a great human interest story." Emily declined. "I don't want to talk about my childhood." The reporter pushed. "Your father is Derek Hayes, leader of the Iron Skulls motorcycle gang. That's newsworthy." "My father is no one," Emily said firmly. "And if you print anything about him, I'll sue for invasion of privacy." The reporter backed off, but Emily knew others would come. Success made you visible, and visibility meant exposure. "We can control the narrative," Patricia suggested. Do one interview, your terms, focus on your professional achievements. Make Derek irrelevant to your story. Emily considered. Maybe it was time to take ownership of her narrative instead of hiding from it. Okay, but I choose the publication and I approve the final article. They settled on Forbes, a piece about young entrepreneurs in real estate. The focus was on Emily's business acumen, her innovative approach, her vision for sustainable commercial development. Derek was mentioned in one sentence. Hayes overcame a difficult childhood to build her career. That was all. He didn't get more than that. The article came out, and Emily's phone exploded. LinkedIn requests, job offers, speaking invitations. She was officially someone. How does it feel? Michael asked. Weird. Good weird, but weird. Get used to it. You're just getting started. Derek was released from jail after 6 months, broke and bitter. The Iron Skulls had kicked him out. Too much liability, too many problems. He had nothing. No bike, no money, no respect. He showed up at Emily's store, not one of the properties she managed, but a vintage clothing boutique she'd opened herself. A side project, her own business, separate from Caldwell Properties. She'd started it with $10,000 of her own savings, built it slowly, now turning profit. It was hers in a way nothing else was. Derek walked in on a Saturday afternoon. Emily was restocking when she saw him. We're closed, she said immediately. To me, your own father. Especially to you. You're violating the restraining order again. I'm not here to cause trouble. Derek looked old, defeated. I'm here to apologize. Emily laughed, sharp, humorless. Now you apologize? After 18 years? I was wrong, about everything, about leaving you, about the things I said. You called me a mistake. I know, and I was wrong. You're impressive, Emily. I've been reading about you. Successful, respected, everything I never was. And now you want what? Forgiveness? Money? A relationship? Derek's pause told her everything. I need help. I'm broke. Homeless. The Skulls won't take me back. I've got nothing. And you think I owe you something? I'm your father. You were my father, Emily corrected. For 7 years, the worst 7 years of my life. Then you left, and I spent the next 14 years learning to survive without you, building a life without you, becoming someone despite you. Emily, please. No. Emily's voice was steel. You made your choice 18 years ago. You chose to leave. You chose to call me a mistake. You chose to abandon a child. Now I'm choosing, and I choose to never see you again. You're just like me, cold, heartless. I'm nothing like you. I don't abandon people who need me. I don't call children mistakes. I don't destroy lives out of selfishness. I'm everything you're not, because I refuse to become you. Derek's face twisted with rage. You think you're better than me? You're nothing, just a trailer park rat who got lucky. Maybe, but I'm a trailer park rat who built something. What are you? A 50-year-old man begging his daughter for money after treating her like garbage. That's pathetic. Security arrived. Emily had called them discreetly when Derek first entered. Sir, you need to leave. Derek left, but not before one last verbal shot. You'll regret this. You'll end up alone, just like me. No, Emily called after him. I'll end up successful. Just watch. After he left, Emily locked the door, sat in her empty store, and finally let herself cry. Not for Derek, but for the 7-year-old who'd needed a father and got a monster instead. For the 18-year-old who'd believed she deserved nothing. For all the versions of herself who'd suffered because one person couldn't love her. Her phone rang. James. Michael called, said Derek showed up. Are you okay? Yeah. Emily wiped her eyes. Yeah, I am. It's over. Really over. Good. Come home. We're making dinner. Home. Emily smiled through tears. Be there in 20. 2 years after moving to San Diego, Emily had built a life she barely recognized from her old one. She'd graduated from San Diego State with a business degree, opened 2 more stores, vintage clothing, curated sustainable goods, managed 8 properties for Caldwell Properties, saved over $200,000 of her own money. At 24, Emily was successful by any measure. But more than success, she had peace. Dr. Williams had helped her process the trauma, understand that Derek's failures weren't her fault, that she deserved good things. You've done the work, Sarah told her during their final session. You've healed. That doesn't mean you'll never hurt, but you have tools now. You're not that abandoned 7-year-old anymore. Sometimes I still feel like her. That's normal. She's part of you, but she's not all of you. You've grown beyond her. Emily left therapy feeling lighter than she had in years. She started giving back, mentoring young women from rough backgrounds, offering jobs and training, funding scholarships for foster kids aging out of the system. "You're making a difference," one girl told her, 17, about to age out, terrified. "Knowing someone like you made it, it makes me think I can too." "You can," Emily said. "I'm proof." James and Michael watched her work with pride. "She's become who our mothers hoped she'd be," James said one evening, watching Emily speak at a fundraiser for foster youth. "Better," Michael corrected. "She's become who she was always meant to be. We just gave her the space to do it." Emily bought her own place, a condo in Little Italy, modest but hers, decorated it herself, filled it with things she loved, made it a home. "You don't have to move out," James said when she told them. "You can stay with us forever." "I know, but I need to prove to myself I can make it on my own." "You already proved that. You were making it on your own when we found you. I was surviving. Now I'm living." "There's a difference." They understood. Helped her move, threw her a housewarming party, visited regularly. Family didn't mean living together. It meant showing up, and they always showed up. One day, Emily got a call from Aunt Rachel. "I heard you're doing well," Rachel said, voice uncomfortable. I don't know. Check in?" Emily was surprised Rachel even had her number. "I'm fine. Thanks. I wasn't great to you after Derek left." "I know that." "No, you weren't. I'm sorry, I was overwhelmed and I took it out on you. That wasn't fair." Emily considered. Rachel had been terrible, but she'd also been drowning. Not an excuse, but context. "I appreciate the apology, but I've moved on. I don't hold grudges, but I also don't need you in my life. I understand, I wanted you to know I'm proud of you for making it. Thanks." After hanging up, Emily felt nothing. Not anger, not forgiveness. Just distance. Some people deserved second chances. Some didn't. Knowing the difference was wisdom. 5 years after James and Michael found her, Emily stood in a conference room presenting to investors. Her own investors, for her own company. She was launching a real estate firm focused on sustainable commercial development, targeting underserved communities. The pitch was solid, the numbers sound, the vision clear. "Why should we invest in you?" one skeptical investor asked. Emily smiled. "Because I know what it's like to come from nothing. I know the communities you're afraid to invest in, and I know how to make them profitable while also making them better. That's not just good business, it's smart business." She got the funding. $2 million to start. James and Michael were in the audience grinning like proud parents. "You did it," James said afterward. "Your own company, independent. Wouldn't have happened without you two." "Bull," Michael said. "You did this. We just gave you the opportunity. You built everything else." That night, Emily sat in her condo overlooking the city lights. Her city now. Her life. She thought about the 7-year-old in the Arizona desert, watching her father ride away. Thought about the 18-year-old pumping gas, convinced she was worthless. Those versions of herself still existed, would always exist. But they were chapters, not the whole story. The whole story was this. A girl abandoned, learned to save herself. Found family not in blood, but in choice. Built a life not despite her past, but because of it, using pain as fuel, trauma as teacher, survival as foundation. Her phone buzzed. Derek's lawyer. Derek Hayes passed away last night. Heart attack. As next of kin, you're listed for notification. No services planned, no estate to settle. Emily read the message twice. Felt nothing. Not relief, not grief, just closure. She typed back, "Thank you for notifying me. No further contact needed." Then she deleted the message and moved on. Derek had spent his life being bitter, angry, destructive. He died the same way. Emily had chosen differently, and that made all the difference. Emily's company had grown to 15 employees, 10 projects, millions in revenue. She was featured in business magazines, spoke at conferences, mentored dozens of young entrepreneurs. But her favorite part was still the small things, hiring people who reminded her of her younger self, giving chances others wouldn't. "Why do you do this?" one employee asked. "You could hire experienced people, make it easier." "Because easy isn't the point. Growth is, theirs and mine." James and Michael were still her closest family. Sunday dinners, holiday traditions, regular check-ins. They'd become the brothers she never had. "Remember when you thought this was temporary?" Michael teased during one dinner. "1 month, you said." "I was an idiot." "You were scared," James corrected. "There's a difference. I'm still scared sometimes." "Good. Fear means you care. Just don't let it stop you." Emily raised her glass. "To family. The one you choose. To family," they echoed. Later, alone in her office, Emily looked at a photo on her desk. Her, James, and Michael at her first store opening. Smiling, hopeful, together. Beside it, another photo. Her mother, young and beautiful, holding baby Emily. "I made it, Mom," Emily whispered. "I survived. I thrived. I became everything Dad said I wouldn't." The achievement wasn't the money or success. It was becoming someone who could love and be loved, who could trust, who could build instead of just survive. Derek had called her a mistake, but mistakes could be corrected. Lives could be rebuilt. Stories could have better endings than their beginnings. Emily's story was proof, and she was just getting started.